So we decided to have
A picnic.
with a view. And how much did we spend at the bakery? 35 pesos. So like 75 cents. And we got everything.
Welcome back to the Rangeless Travel Podcast. We're your favorite adventure travel hosts. I'm Britt, and this is Ryan. Together, we travel the world by plane, train, and 89 Ford Sportsmobile, capturing the beauty, adventure, and culture in every corner of the globe. Currently, we're traveling the U.S. in an old van with our 2 dogs, Layla and Cedar. Every Tuesday, we share stories and tips to inspire you to book that next trip. So go ahead and don't be shy. Follow along with us at Rangeless_ on Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Let's dive in. This week, we're sharing your guide to Cebu in the Philippines. Cebu is one of our favorite islands, but I feel like it's an island that pretty much everyone visits when they go to the Philippines if they do any kind of moving around. It's considered one of the gateways into the Philippines right after Manila.
Right.
And Cebu City is one of the biggest, and it is the oldest and first city of the Philippines.
Really?
Yes. But if we jump back in time, because I think that it's really important to have a little bit of an understanding of the history of a place before you go to it, just because it helps you understand the food, the culture, the language, what you're looking at. Because you can like jump on some free tour that your accommodation or your hostel is doing in a city, and they're like, look at this architecture, and you're like, that's cool, but
yeah, because without like knowing the history behind it, you don't have any context.
Yeah, there's no context. It's just like, that's pretty, I like it, which sometimes is fine, but I'm a little bit of a nerd, and I'm curious. Like, I'm just curious. I want to know more. I want to go deeper. I want to understand it, and I want to have a basic of that understanding before I even get there. And Cebu in general, or Cebu specifically within the Philippines, has a really old, rich culture. Now, the original name, like, we're going back, like, pre-Spanish coming in, trying to, or colonizing them, civilizing them, whatever. This is pre that. This is like, we're going back. Cebu was called Cebu. That's where they get the name from, but it literally translates to trade. Trade. Yeah. And most of this trade was going in and out of what is now Cebu City. So the Cebu City has been a port city for literally like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years.
Right. So that's like their hub, their trade hub for like that whole region.
Well, it has been, like, it is obviously now, but like it has been for so long. Right. And they were trading with everyone. Like, this is going back like 600 years.
Wow.
Yeah, they were trading with everyone. The Japanese, the Malaysians, China, Myanmar.
Wow, that's wild. 600 years ago.
Yeah, and further. Like, they were literally trading with everyone. The whole island was just called trade. Like, that's what they were doing. And because there was so much trading goes on, that means that there was money. Like, there was a lot of money, as well as a very organized, like, society structure. Like, they had a datu, which is, like, the equivalent. It was a king. Like, it was a king.
It was their king?
It was a king, yeah. But they had, like, more than one. Like, there wasn't just, like, one for the whole island.
Okay. So it was like clans or like...
Like villages or communities. And each, like, village or community would have between, like, 30 to 100 households. And the Datu, he got that position through lineage, so like a king. Right. But also he had to have like physical prowess. So I'm not exactly sure how or when they decided it was time to like pass that down. But it wasn't like in European culture when they're like, oh, he died. So he like dies. Now, his son gets it? No. Yeah, no, it was like, oh, like you can't physically do it anymore. Like someone else.
Right. Someone has to step up and protect everyone.
Yeah, I don't fully understand how the change of hands happened. So if you do fully understand it, please let me know. But being physical prowess was like one of the top. You had to be able to like protect your community and like your village.
I mean, that makes sense.
Makes sense. But yeah, that was like a top thing. So if we're moving forward a little bit. Oh, and these people, their homes they were cool. So the king lived in, it was almost like a townhouse, and they were made out of wood.
Right. Okay.
They were very nice.
Yeah.
And then like the village people, like your common person, was living in those like stilt houses. So they were like raised and they had like bamboo floor, and then they would
cool.
have like the palm
Tiles?
roofs.
Oh.
Not tiles. They were like
It was
the
like
thatched, more like a thatched roof.
Oh,
But
okay.
you can still
Yeah,
see them.
yeah.
Like they're all over the Philippines still, like those roofs. So you can
Right,
see
right.
them when you're there.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And you can see examples like of this type of architecture still like throughout Cebu. If you kind of know what you're looking for, you can see really nice examples of it. And it's really pretty. And when you see it, you're like, oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
Now, when the Spanish got there, this is like mid 16th centuries. So like I think it was like 1533 was like the first time that the Spaniards like landed. But they obviously got there, and the people of the time, like the Cebuian people, they looked badass. Like so badass.
I'm picturing like lots of tattoos, like adorned body, like because like that's where,
men
like,
and women, like they were tatted up.
Like, cause like isn't Philippines where like they started the stick and pokes and stuff?
I don't know.
It's not like started, but like there's a huge history of it there.
There is. I have
like,
my tattoo is from there.
It's from there. Yeah. Why not? So like and like
that's not in Cebu, but yeah.
It's not in Cebu, but it's the Philippines.
Yeah. So they were like fully inked up, men and women, and they wore like really big gold jewelry. So they were like fully adorned, all laying up. So they looked, in my opinion, they looked real cool. But to like a Spaniard from the 16th century, it was probably like jarring.
It was probably a little terrifying for them. And also then they saw all the gold, so they probably wanted
So they're
that.
probably like, yeah, we want that. But besides that, they showed up and they were like, we must convert them. They will be Catholics. So they showed up and then decided right away that they were going to start building churches. As soon as they started building churches, they sent priests over. And now these people have like a really set, structured society already. Like it was already set. It'd been that way for like hundreds and hundreds of years. And then all of a sudden they put these Catholic priests in there and told the people, like the kings, oh, he's going to rule alongside you now. How infuriating. How infuriating. So now they converted them to Catholicism. They've brought in these priests to like rule alongside them. But we know what that means. Like that means like they ruled and they like But there was a lot of cultural and economic exchange during this point, right? And because of that there was definitely resistance to it, obviously.
Yeah.
So they, on top of churches, they built watchtowers, like all over Cebu.
Oh, they had people up there
like 24/7. Yeah, to squash any revolts.
Oh.
Like 24/7, they had like men in these like watchtowers watching over everyone. Yeah. Yeah. So the people kind of had no choice but to take on some of their cultural things, so they changed the way they dressed. They did build schools, like formal elementary schools all over. They obviously changed the language. They started like wanting them to speak Spanish. They also changed their crops. So remember, Cebu is literally trade. Like their trade. So they were producing all kinds of things. They were growing all kinds of things. They were doing all kinds of things.
Trading with everyone, so they were bringing stuff in from everywhere too, I'm sure.
Yeah, from all over. But in Europe at the time, sugar was like king.
Yeah.
Everyone loved sugar. Sugar was like the top. Like it was the ultimate. So they set up like giant sugar plantations. And they're like, we're doing sugar now, baby.
So they basically made them all do sugar, and they kind
For
of...
like 300-400 years.
So they all forgot like all the other stuff that they would
I
have
don't
been
know.
like proficient at.
I don't know if they forgot. I don't know how that side of it played out.
Right.
But they was stealing the culture from them.
Yeah, it's typical colonialism. It's like wipe out their religion and then like
their language and
their
make them
language
do
and,
what
like,
you want.
Yeah.
Which is what happened. Now, jump forward in time to like the 1890s, and there was a sugar crisis. They weren't able to grow the sugar anymore. They couldn't. So what happened? Bankruptcy. They weren't able to, like, they were pumping all this money in. Like, the economy just went bankrupt because there was a sugar crisis. Because the sugar crisis...
if you're all dependent on one thing.
Yeah, and something goes wrong, which it did. So now they're super vulnerable, and the U.S. decided that in the year 1900, the U.S. said, don't worry, we're here. Yeah, so the U.S. moved in, claimed it as U.S. territory, which then sprung them into the Filipino-American War,
right.
which just then, every crisis that went on in the world after that, for the most part, then Cebu was somehow included in, right? So like then World War II, Japanese occupation, then, you know, you went into, they were affected by martial law, and like just on and on and on.
Right.
Cebu was just just a point of so many things. Cebu was affected by everything.
Yeah, they were just dragged into everything then from then on.
And then jumping forward to today, it's the second largest city
in the whole Philippines.
In the Philippines, and all of Cebu has a population of 2.5 million people.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's a ton of people that live in Cebu today, and I think overall, like, knowing what the Cebuian people have kind of came from and where their roots have grown out of, they are such, you can see in them, because they're such like kind, but they're so hardworking, like as a general statement.
Right.
They're very proud
Yeah.
of being from Cebu. They're very proud of their heritage. They're very proud of their history and where they've came from and everything they've overcame. And I think understanding just like that basic bit of their history really gives you an understanding of you know, Cebuian people as a people.
Right.
And like, you're like, no wonder you're proud. You guys are badass.
Yeah.
You guys are badass.
Yeah.
So you should be proud. Your ancestors, the cool. Right?
Yeah.
Now, I go back into, so we're planning your trip, right?
Right.
There's typhoons. There's a typhoon season.
In the Philippines.
In the Philippines. That's pretty much all year in the Philippines. But the Philippines has like
7,000 islands or something like that.
Yeah. So the typhoon, or the dry season in Cebu is January to April.
Yeah.
So that's when you want to go, because typhoon season in the Philippines is not an afternoon shower. Typhoon season in the Philippines is, it's going to rain all day for weeks. Go during dry season.
Yeah.
Go during dry season. So you want to go to Cebu. If you're looking to go to Cebu, you're going to go between January and April. That's when you want to go.
That's the best time of year to go. Okay.
Now, because we went and loved it. What was something you wish you knew before going to Cebu?
Before I went, I wish I'd known how long it takes to get between places. Like, I severely underestimated that. Like, even on Cebu itself, to get there, it's a flight, if not two, like from anywhere in the Philippines. To get from Cebu to like where we went, Moalboal, it was only 85 kilometers. That should only take you about like 2 hours. We were on the bus for 9 hours. Like, just, it's assuming that like there's a rigorous like public transit system. There's not. It's very much the bus might come, the bus might not come.
It's an island. It's on island time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then also things are more expensive than you think they're going to be.
Yes.
Not so much once you get to the place, it's fine. But when you're taking the flights and the ferries and everything else to move, it's going to be a little bit more, because the flights are small. So they charge you for your baggage. They charge you for, just for everything. And because you're moving so much, the movement costs money. Yeah. So it's going to cost more money to get around than you initially think it's going to be. All the flights are pretty expensive between islands. It's just going to be expensive to move.
Yeah.
And then also, if you're going to the Philippines, you need an international driver's license if you plan on
renting a scooter or a car or anything. Yeah.
They're easy to get, though. You get them through AAA if you're in the U.S., and they're like $20. Yeah. I don't know how to do them outside the U.S.
I think you can do it with AA in...
It's AA, it's not AAA?
In the UK.
They just took an A away?
AA, Automobile Association.
Oh.
It's a different thing.
Okay.
But yeah.
Now, how to get to Cebu. There's two ways you can get around Philippines in general, and two ways you can get to Cebu. You can fly in, or you can take a ferry in.
Yeah.
I would suggest flying. The ferries are there. They take so long. So if you want to just experience a ferry in the Philippines, take a ferry in. That's an experience. If you want to get to Cebu, fly.
Yeah, unless you got a lot
Fly.
of time to like burn. Because the thing is with the ferries, they're not like much cheaper than flying.
No, they're not. You don't really save that much money.
No, and you got to get to the ferry and all that. And Cebu has a huge airport. Like it's pretty big. You know?
Yeah. Well, it's
one of the hubs. So
yeah, it's one of the hubs. It's one of like the gateways into the Philippines.
Yeah,
it's Manila and it's Cebu.
Yeah, and there's multiple flights to Manila out of there every day.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
I would say fly in to Cebu City.
Absolutely, I would say fly in, unless you want to experience the ferries. We've said like multiple times how long it takes to get from one place to the next. So once you get there, plan on staying. I would say if you're going to Cebu, stay at least a week.
Yeah.
At least a week, because there's a lot of different areas to see. There's a lot of different things to do. There's a lot of different stuff to experience. So you want to be on the island of Cebu for minimum a week. Probably 2.
Yeah, if you can.
Probably forever. You just want to be there.
You don't want to leave.
You're just not going to want to leave. But yeah, at least a week. Go for at least a week. And then there's different areas, and the different areas offer
all different things.
Different things.
They're basically, it's like going to completely different places.
Mm-hmm. When you first get there, you're probably going to fly in, and you're going to fly into Cebu City.
Yeah.
Cebu City is the oldest city in the Philippines, and it was the original capital of the Philippines as well, or it was the first capital of the Philippines. And there's so much history there because it's been a trading hub for literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. So you can see influence from, the Spanish because they were there for so long, but you can see the American influence there because they were there, but you can see the Chinese influence there. You can see, Malaysian influence there. You can see so much influence from all these different cultures that have, been there, have traded there, people have immigrated into the area. So it's just, if you're looking for history and you really enjoy seeing like the history and the architecture and the culture of a place, you make sure you make time to go to Cebu City.
Yeah.
There's also beautiful beaches right around there as well.
Yeah, and like when you first land in, you don't want to be trying to get off your plane, get a taxi, get a bus. Like that's what we did, and I think that was a mistake. I think we should have stayed a day or two in Cebu City before running off to Moalboal.
Yeah.
I think
I've been to Cebu City before. There's really good like walking tours. There's really good museums. There's really good food and restaurants. There's really good nightlife. There's also a Mad Monkey in Cebu City, which I like. I'm not a big partier, but I usually suggest if you're solo traveling to stay in a social hostel for at least a night or two before moving to like a quieter one. But also because the Mad Monkey in Cebu had good Wi-Fi, which Wi-Fi is not that good in the Philippines as a general statement, and it's not that good in Cebu. They had decent Wi-Fi. They had a rooftop pool. They had a bar. They had lots of rooms. It was really big. It was well located.
Yeah, and the good thing about doing something like that is Cebu City is the starting point for most people's like travel around Cebu. So everyone's kind of like starting off there. If you don't really have a set plan of what you're doing, you could maybe jump in with a group of people that are traveling around. They're going on this. You could even, don't make our mistake, if you're staying at a hostel there, maybe you could meet up with a few people and get a van to Moalboal or wherever you're going, and it would work out pretty much the same price as the bus, but it would save you so much more time.
It would save you so much time. Yeah. What is it? It's like 5 hours instead of 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is just a lot better.
Yeah.
Where else is there to go in Cebu?
There is also Oslo all the way down the bottom, which is where they do the whale sharks. But there's a problem with the whale sharks. There's a like.
Well, it's not the problem with the whale sharks. It's the problem with
the people.
The humans.
Yeah.
Humans in general. So the humans bait in the whale sharks because there's so much tourism there to come and see them, and whale sharks are typically migrant animals, so when they bait them in, they no longer migrate, which affects the ecosystem as a whole. Now, it also affects the individual whale sharks because when they're baited so much, they forget how to get food on their own.
Yeah.
And it also makes them not afraid of humans, but boats. So what happens?
Boats, so they end up getting cut with the propellers and stuff.
Yeah, because they'll see the boats coming in, or they'll hear the boats coming in, and whale sharks can swim pretty deep. So they hear the boats come in, and they'll come up to the surface thinking they're going to be fed. And if it's just like a freight boat or something like that going through, they come up and they get too close and they end
Right.
up getting hit by the boats and get seriously hurt.
Yeah.
And they're already endangered animals. So there are places that you can swim with the whale sharks
More ethically.
There's always that, like, you have to do a lot of research before
Yeah.
you go and just kind of do your best.
Yeah,
Just do your best.
definitely.
But there is Oslo there. It's super touristy. It is there. Lots of people go. You also have
Mactan, yeah.
which is there. That I've never been, but it's where a lot of the all-inclusive resorts are.
Ah, right.
Yeah,
okay.
and it's not on the island of Cebu, but it's connected to it. It's an island. It has a bridge. You just drive over the bridge,
Right.
and then you're there.
And
And
it's like all different resorts.
it's
and
all
stuff.
different resorts, and the beaches are really beautiful. So a lot
Right.
of people go there, and they go snorkeling, and they hang out on the beach. And
So
they
is
go to the
that
resorts.
like a more upmarket, or is it like like everything?
It is, but you can also find stuff that's more like small family run. But I would say it's
Right.
more geared towards families. Like it's more
Right.
geared towards
Yeah,
a family
yeah.
holiday.
Right. Gotcha.
But it's definitely a holiday spot,
Yeah.
and it has all inclusives, and they're nice. Speaking of like islands that you can go to, Bohol is also there. So that's like an hour on a boat, like on a little ferry.
That's,
And
where the chocolate hills
where
are,
the
right?
chocolate hills are.
Those are cool. We didn't get a chance to see them, but we did when we went to Moalboal. When we went to Osmina Peak, we got to see like our own mini version of it, which was kind of cool.
Yeah. So in Bohol, they also have a lot of different animals that
There's a
people
bunch
go.
of like wildlife and stuff.
Yes.
I know there's a lot of scuba and things like that there. Well, there's scuba everywhere in the Philippines. Let's be real.
Yeah, so people go there for the chocolate hills and the wildlife, and you can stay there. Some people just do a day trip and then go back to Cebu. So,
Right.
and then you had already mentioned our favorite spot.
Sorry for blowing that one, but Moalboal is like the backpacker central of
It's
of
considered
Cebu.
the cool spot.
And it's like the adventure capital of Cebu.
Yeah, we did a lot of really cool stuff there. We went and did Osmina Peak.
Yeah, the tallest mountain in Cebu. That's what I was talking about with and it looks like the Chocolate Hills. So if you don't have time to make it all the way to Bohol for the Chocolate Hills, you could just go and do Osmina Peak and have your own little like Chocolate Hills experience. It's beautiful up there. I loved it.
Yeah. They also have the sardine run where you can go right off the beach, and like we did it for free. We just grabbed some snorkels from our accommodation,
Right.
and you get to snorkel out when there's like millions of sardines, and it's really neat.
Yeah, it's like right in the middle of town too, and you just swim out, and it's like 50 feet off the shore, and there's a huge drop off, and there's thousands of sardines there.
Yeah.
Thousands.
Also, everyone goes to Khao Falls and does the
Pretty
canyoneering.
much, yeah.
I would say that like you have to, if you go to Cebu and you're doing one thing, you have to go and do the canyoneering. It was so much fun. They give you a helmet and you just like jump off
All these cliffs into
all
the
day,
river,
and the water is
know.
so blue.
It's like Gatorade. It's so blue.
Yeah.
There's also a bunch of beaches that are really, really nice. Like Lambug Beach is beautiful, and there was hardly anyone there when we went. I mean, there is a small like eco fee. There's a lot of places in the Philippines. There's like an environmental fee wherever you go, and then you got to pay for parking for your bike. But it's usually pretty affordable. It's like 50 cents, $1.
Yeah.
And parking's like 20 cents, and if the place is kept clean and like it looks after the environment, then why not? But yeah, they have beautiful beaches. We didn't get a chance to go to. It's probably the most famous beach in Moalboal that's not like sardine related, and it's White Beach on the north side. And I've seen pictures and videos, and it is gorgeous too. But
Yeah.
we went to Lambog, which is a quieter beach, and it's more relaxed and like just chill out on.
It
the
was
beach.
really good.
Really, really, really good. Yeah. What else? What else do we do in
That's it.
Moalboal? That's everything, I think. Yeah.
Now, you can't go to the Philippines and not indulge in all the Filipino food
Yes.
because they have all kinds of delicious, delicious food.
That's right. What's your like? When you think Cebu, I think the lechon or lech. Am I saying that right?
You're asking me.
I don't know. I might be saying. I think it's lechon, but there's like an accent on it, so I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. But it's spit roasted pork.
Yeah, so they take a bamboo stalk and they stick it through like a young pig that's stuffed with all kinds of herbs like star anise, lemongrass, and a bunch of other stuff, and they then like spit roast it over hot coals for like hours until the outside gets like all crispy, crunchy, and it's really tasty. And they have them everywhere. You can usually smell them, and you have to. It's one of those things you just have to have because it's like it's their food.
Yeah, and it's good. Like and Cebu is known for this too. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you're driving around, you'll also see puso. Puso? I think that's how you say it. Again, like I'm so sorry if I am butchering how to pronounce these things. But it's rice. So you'll see this like woven little triangle, and they usually a lot of times are hanging. Sometimes they'll be out on a table. And it's woven coconut leaves, and inside there's rice, and they put the rice in, and then they boil it and cook it, and it's like to-go food. It's like fast food.
That's good. Another thing is, a lot of places where you go, like there's a bunch of smoothie bars and stuff like that, but also one of our favorite things to do is to get a coconut. Like you can get them on the side of the road, and you can stop into a place and get them. They just chop them open with a machete, and you're good to go. And I really liked it. Before I went to Asia, I didn't like coconuts.
Yeah, because you've never had a good one. There's a difference. If you don't like coconuts, and then you go somewhere that has coconuts, try them. There's also different kinds of coconuts, and the different kinds of coconuts taste different.
Yeah.
So
and the age of the coconut matters too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But you want like not too young, right? There's one, and it will give you all sorts of problems. If you
just go to the stands, and they're gonna give you the ones. You're not go climbing the trees to get them, so it don't matter. You're going to the stand, and they're gonna just give you one. But there's different ones. Like there's yellow ones that are like king coconuts. There's green ones that they just call coconuts. I don't know the exact name is, but just go to the stand.
There was one thing that I wish we got the chance to try, and we didn't because we didn't have much time in Cebu City, and it's puchero, and there's a spot in Cebu City called Marjo's Puchero, and Anthony Bourdain went there.
I love him.
Puchero is like a beef stew cooked with bananas and okra, and I really, really am sad that we didn't get a chance to try that.
I'm just thinking because we had a beef stew.
But there was no bananas in it.
There was stuff in it. Yeah, because the bananas aren't going to be like bananas. They're going to be plantains. So they're going to kind of taste similar to a potato.
Yeah.
So we may have had that at that one little stand.
Well, I mean, it's possible.
We may have had it. We may have. I think we did. Yeah. I think we had it at that one little stand, and we're like, this is the best food we've gotten. Remember when we were on our way back from somewhere?
When we were on our way back from Lombok Beach.
Yeah.
And we stopped in at that little place on the side of the road.
Yes, and we got stew.
That was really good.
I think that's what that was. I think we had it. Because that had like potato in it, but I was like, this isn't potato. This don't taste like potato. Maybe this is something different. But like, I'm like, but maybe it's potato. I don't know. And then it had a big piece of beef, and it was beef stew. I think we had it.
Maybe we did. I don't know.
But
we didn't have it from that spot. That's what I'm saying.
We had it from a different spot, but I think we had it. I don't think you should sleep on Philippine bakeries.
The Philippine bakeries. Oh my God.
So good. First of all, their bread is just like really good. Second of all, it's super affordable. So you just go and just like pick out a bunch of stuff to try. And it's like, we got like a whole bag of stuff, and it was like 60 something cents.
Like the bakeries are extremely affordable, even by local food standards. Like it was like, I couldn't believe it.
And they're really good.
Yeah.
And everything's really good. The bread's really good. All the baked goods are really good. When you go, look for, it'll be like purple. What is it? It's like a purple yam.
It's ube, it's called, but it's a yam jam.
It's so good. But they make like cookies and cakes and all these different things, and it's purple, and I love it. I love it. We had like these crinkle cookies.
They were good.
And they were really,
really good. I couldn't believe how affordable the bakeries were and how much stuff you can get for like, you know.
Yeah.
It was so good. And we filled the bag.
They also have like a ceviche, but it's not ceviche. It's, what is it called? Kinilaw. And it's fish. And you know how ceviches marinated in like citrus and it like cooks the fish.
Right.
Instead of citrus, it uses coconut vinegar to like cook the fish.
Okay. We didn't try that, but
I
wish
don't
we did.
think we tried it there, but I think we might have had a Malaysian version in
Right. I remember
the Borneo
in Borneo.
in the basement in the mall.
Right.
Not where I thought I was gonna have really good like ceviche, but it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we tried it. I think we just tried the Malay version, which there's a lot of Malaysian influence in Cebu. So
I'm sure there is because, like you just said, they were trading with them
for hundreds of years.
hundreds of years. Yeah.
Is there anything else you wish you would have known, kind of just to like wrap up, or you think there's something that they shouldn't miss? Anything else? If you were planning a trip to Cebu that you want to add,
That you couldn't miss.
bring sun cream.
Oh yeah, you can't.
Sun cream there is that you can find it, but it's really expensive. So just bring your own from home. All your other toiletries and everything like that you can find.
Safe.
Bring Reef Safe. Yeah, bring Reef Safe, please.
Yeah, a lot of the reefs got absolutely battered with Super Typhoon Odette back in 2021, and they're only recovering now. So like we're trying to do our best to like preserve them as much as we can and allow them to come back because it takes years before they recover. So
please
yeah.
bring your own sun cream and please make sure it's reef safe. That is it for this week's episode of the Rangeless Travel Podcast. If you want more from us, you can follow us on Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, all at Rangeless_. Until next week. Bye.